Hello everyone and welcome back to Road America for this time the South African simGT Challenge, the second split to round 4. Of course we had the top split last Monday evening which saw Gabriel Rousseau successively defend his Drivers' Championship title from 2017.1 to become the 2017.2 Drivers' Champion as well. So Gabriel setting the record books a lot throughout that race last Monday evening. But we now turn our attention to the GT Challenge race, as I've said, the second split race of round 4. And I'm Jason Holden-Jones, and I'm joined by Carl Swanepoel. Welcome, Carl.
Good evening.
And we have started qualifying. We are 3 minutes in, over 12 minutes remaining. And the first man out of the pits is Leandre Sparks in the Sparks Racing Audi R8. And stunning looking livery. And Leandre has just started a flying lap. Let's see what he can produce. And, yeah, Leandre racing together with his father this evening, Stephen Sparks, and Stephen is just behind him in the purple liveried Audi R8. Of course, both cars belong to Sparks Racing. We are now going to go on board with Leandre. This is a long sweeping right-hander. We saw different lines by different drivers throughout Monday evening's race. Leandre using the wider, sort of meeting the apex halfway through the corner, wider line to get a better exit out of that corner. And we'll see other drivers hugging the apex and not running wide at all, and towards the end of that corner. Stronger. Let's see what he can do. We saw, I think it was pole position on Monday evening, was about a 2:05.4 if I'm not mistaken. And let's see how close Leandre can get to that. Carl, who is your hot pick this evening? Who do you think is going to do well?
I think Leandre is going to be up there. Gustav is also very strong. And then hopefully Matthew can pull everything together. But yeah, we've got quite a good spread of drivers this evening, so I think it's going to be a good race.
So Leandre Sparks did a 2:05 flat basically. So I think you can expect that time of seed, Leandre Sparks can absolutely sideways through turn 1. He's pushing very hard, and it's paid dividends there. He's a 10th up on his best Delta time. To improve, we're going to have a look at Edrin Govender in the Rad Racing Audi R8, and he has done a 2:05.942, currently second. And, Renzo 2 in the Nissan Skyline GTR. He is Nissan GTR, should I say. It's not really called the Skyline anymore. And he's currently in 3rd position. Yazin Ismail in the Echo Racing Audi R8, currently in 4th position. And then we have Gustav Jacobs with a 2:06.757, currently in 5th position. And then Stephen Sparks, 6th position with a 2:08.93. So we'll see other drivers filtering and putting up lap times as we go through this session.
Tim Smith is also putting a pretty decent lap there as well.
Let's see if we can pick up Tim. Where's the front is correcting me. It was a 2:03.3 by Bashir Jadwat for pole position on Monday evening in the top split. The times seem a good 1.6 seconds off the pace compared to that split. I'd expect that pole position time there for this split to come down.
Tim's closed in again. Done another good lap.
Yeah, so Tim Smith has done a 2:05.096. That is only, what is it, 3/100ths of a second separating Leandre Sparks and Tim Smith now. So I think we're going to witness a good fight between those two drivers.
Yeah, the top three is really close. Just 2 tenths between them.
And now we've got Gustav Jacobs now has popped into third with a 2:05.285, so he's right there with Sparks and Smith. He's just 2 tenths behind them, absolutely nothing in it. So second separating the top 5-6 drivers. Fascinating to see what tyres the drivers start with. But for the moment, yeah, they're probably running soft tyres for this qualifying session. Matthew Boy now with the 2:05.406. Just 4 tenths off the pace. 2 tenths away from Jacobs in third.
Yeah, so Jason, the entire field apart from Yassine is all running soft tyres. Yassine has gone out on the mediums. Might be feeling a little bit more comfortable on those tyres.
Oh wow, so Yassine did the lap time on a medium tyre.
Yeah.
So we may see him put on a set of softs and see what he can produce. Or perhaps, as you say, maybe he's just happy with the medium tyre.
Yep.
You can get those tyres up into temperature in time and really go for it. Ryan Hill's not done this lap time. He's 10th position with a 2:09.149. So some work to do for Ryan Hill. The Equal Racing BMW Z4 GT3. The same car that you drive, Carl.
That is correct. And it boded quite well to be in that car this week. Top 10 consisted of 4 Z4s, so Ryan can pull it together. I think he can get a good result.
Absolutely. Because we had the Audi of Gabriel So winning, and then we had the 2 BMWs.
Chris Langeveld and Chase Gunther.
That's correct, yeah. Just went blank for a second. I was just checking the results.
Yeah, me too. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Yes, you're quite correct. Am I? Yeah. Yes, it was Rousseau from Langeveld from Gunther. Crawford was in 4th position.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now we got Lorenzo Lagorge. Lorenzo, if I'm mispronouncing your name, please let me know how to say your surname. I do apologize. And I think I have asked you that before. But we've got Lorenzo in 3rd position with a 2:05.123. So he splits Smith and Jacobs for 3rd position. So wow, it's very close. It's
really close. Top 5 is less than 4 tenths.
7 tenths a second separating the top 7 or
7.
so.
Yep.
And then just 0.4 to Mark McGee in 8th position. It's all happening here at Road America.
Renzo's a little bit down on this lap, so I think hopefully he'll run another quick one up just to make up.
Landy in the McLaren just moving aside for Lorenzo. So great to see that McLaren 650S GT3 in the championship.
Alright, cool, get to the pits.
And he hasn't done a lap time yet, perhaps he'll get one underway shortly. We're now watching Tim Smith. He's just, you'll be looking for those 4/100ths of a second to take that provisional pole position away from Leandre Sparks. He's running out of time. There's just over 3 minutes remaining. He's probably good for another 3 laps or so.
Looks like he's on an outlap at the moment.
Yeah,
so.
he is, yeah. So perhaps a 2-lap run at the end, Carl, for Tim Smith.
Yep. Yep, if he can get around in time.
It's pretty good. Just enough fuel there for 2 laps and maybe another corner.
Well, if he runs out just before the first corner, then I think he's done well. It looks like he's a little bit far, I think, to get 2 laps in. So he's probably just got 1 flying lap left. He's still got a good minute to go before he finishes the lap.
He could potentially get 2 laps in, because if he crosses the line, then he sort of has 120% of the fastest lap to get around again. So that should enable him to squeeze out 2 laps. Let's see how Tim Smith goes. Oh, we're pushing pretty hard there. He'll want this, absolutely.
Oh, he's so close.
As I say that, he goes off. See, Carl, it's a commentator's curse. We'll get used to it.
Yeah, we should just, let's just keep quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to miss that second lap, so he's got one flying lap in him.
It's over 2 minutes for a lap,
yeah.
Not a minute like I was thinking a moment ago. I don't know why I was thinking that.
Well, that's why you don't race with us, because we wouldn't be able to keep up.
Yeah. It's like conflict of interest here. I am the race director too. So.
Oh, that's true.
I just need 4 laps to catch the guy in front. Okay, let me just add 4 laps to the race. That'll go down very well. So, yeah, Tim Smith has got his 10 seconds on course here for pole position. If he can maintain this momentum, Carl, let's see what they can do.
It's about 2 tenths, yep. I see Yassine is still running the medium tyres. It's obviously his preference.
Yassine's running the mediums in quali. Perhaps we're going to see him run the hards in the race. Let's see.
That could be interesting. Tim's keeping that 2 tenths up that he made from the beginning. It's looking good.
Having a great run this evening. I think we might just see a 204 from him. Oh, he's missed the apex there slightly.
He's still 3 tenths. Yep. It's looking good. Almost 4 tenths up. The final sector to go. Oh, fantastic lap there by Tim. Manages to snatch it at the death. Matthew Boy improving slightly on his best time. Not quite enough to take 4th place there away from Gustav.
Yeah, so that was a cracking lap there by Tim Smith, Carl, the 204.747. That would have put him, I think, about in the midfield for the top split.
Yeah.
So, nice run there.
Yeah, that would have put him around 10th or 11th, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Great lap.
Yeah, so Leandre in second with a 205.0. Lorenzo's with a 205.1. So yeah, it's looking very nice and close.
Yep.
And yeah, I think that's about this qualifying session done and dusted. Let's just have a...
Just waiting for Mike. There we go. He's unfortunately down on his base.
Okay, we are around 20 seconds away from the gridding session, and then we'll be underway for a pace lap. And, Tim Smith will lead the field around and then speed up to race pace from the very last corner. And we'll be hoping for a bit of a cleaner start this time round when compared to Monday evening.
Yeah, let's hope so. No names mentioned.
No.
Well, it really threw the race up in there. It kind of spiced things up. You had some of the quicker guys coming through from the back. So it was, I mean, me in the midfield, it was interesting, so I enjoyed it.
Okay, the server is not moving sessions for whatever reason. Let me just, oh, here we go. Okay, great.
There we go.
There we go. Just getting a bit concerned for a moment. But yeah, our starting grid is Tim Smith from pole position. Congratulations to him. Great run at 2:04.7 for Tim Smith. Leandre Sparks will start from second position for Sparks Racing. Lorenzo Lagorce from third position. Fourth position for Gustav Jacobs. Fifth is Matthew Boy in the simGT Racing Ferrari. The Eco Racing Audi of Yassine Ismail will start from sixth position. Mark Miguel from seventh. Adrian Govender from eighth position. Steven Sparks from ninth position. Dion Jonker on debut this evening in the South African simGT. And Ryan Hill is there as well, together with Clifton Bridge and Brandon Landy. Let's see what each driver's strategy, what they come up with and what they do. Each driver needs to do one mandatory pit stop. And, Carl, what kind of strategy do you use on Monday evening?
Well, the Z4 was a little soft on its tires, and I was able to stretch the medium tires quite far. So I decided to run medium tires until lap 28, and then came in for the soft tires for the last couple of laps. So a little bit of a quicker second stint, but most of the field ended up doing two medium set. So it was nice to offset the strategy a little bit. Spice things up a bit.
Yeah, there are advantages to sort of running longer than the other cars, because if you do sort of pit early, you run the risk of running into traffic, which is what happened to Bashir Jadwat after his incident with a back marker after leading the race, and unfortunately making contact with the back marker, and he had to pit early, and they dropped him right back into traffic, and his rivals were able to sort of pull away at the front, although Bashir Jadwat did recover well.
He did. I mean, he came storming through the field.
Absolutely, it was an incredible comeback. And yeah, if you can run a bit longer than your competitors, it does pay off.
Yep. I think the only downside of making a pit stop in Assetto Corsa is the time to refuel almost is negated by the amount of time it takes to change the tires. So the fuel strategy doesn't really make much of a difference. It's generally how far you can run the tires, because whether you put in 5 liters or whether you put in 105 liters, the time to change the tires is the same.
Of course, you know, if you're running more fuel at the start, you can be vulnerable to sort of attacks from other cars because you're running heavier than them. So that is certainly a disadvantage.
Yeah, that was definitely something that I found because I was obviously fueled for much longer. So the first 4 or 5 laps, I really did struggle for some good pace. But you burn off that fuel and you sort of settle into a rhythm, and I think then in the long run it does pay off.
Okay, great. We've got 13 cars on the grid. So I think we look forward to an exciting race. So Tim Smith now bunching the field. Just trying to calm his nerves for the start of this race. I'm sure his heart rate would have skipped a couple of beats. And he's got Leandro Sparks right with him. The 2 Audis and then the Nissan GTR. And off we go. Tim Smith has started the race. He's put foot, but Leandro Sparks is right with him. Bit of a twitch there for Sparks coming out of that corner. Perhaps getting on the throttle a bit too early. On cold tires with someone off in the background. I'm not sure who that was. I think it was the Nissan GTR. Sparks is falling back. Yes, it was the purple Audi R8. Stephen Sparks falling back. But it is Tim Smith that leads into turn 1 quite comfortably. But here comes Sparks.
Sparks on the inside.
So there go now. He wants to get on with it and get past Tim Smith as quick as possible. And Sparks has got the inside line. Tim makes space for him. And through goes Leandro Sparks to lead this race. So not even a lap, but we've got a change in the leadership. Oh, here comes Tim Smith. He's having a go at Leandro. You have the outside line. And Leandro will defend well.
Oh, contact.
Just contact again at that corner. Oh,
yep,
another safety joke.
Lorenzo.
Gustav Jacobs slows down. Looks to have a problem, does Gustav Jacobs?
And you might be waiting for the field to pass.
Could be. So very generous there by Gustav. But if you watch the race on Monday evening, see Ryan Hill slowing now. So he's got a problem too.
He's got a lot of damage, looks like it.
A lot of damage. Something's happened to Ryan Hill. And he's limping it back. Clifton Bridge there is in the pit lane, so perhaps those 2 cars coming together. But for the moment, it is Leandro Sparks leading this race on lap 2. And looking comfortable. We've got Mark McGeer up into 3rd position. And Matthew Boy in 4th. So Mark McGeer's had a great start. Started, I think, from what's it, 7th position, Carl? I'm not quite sure. And he is up into 3rd. And Nissan GTR looking strong. The M2 Racing Nissan GTR.
Yep, super powerful down the straight.
Yeah. And he's got he's bringing along Matthew Boy to the party as well. So I think these 2 will be working their way towards the front 2 runners.
Now it looks like the top 4 has managed to pull a bit of a gap on 5th. Edwin Govender in 5th.
Gustav Jacobs now in 10th. Holden move on Landy. I'm not quite sure. Is Landy past? No, Landy's in 11th position. He's behind Jacobs. Okay.
I think, Jason, the interesting thing to note in terms of the tyres that the guys are starting on, we've got Leandro Sparks and Tim Smith on the medium tyres, but behind them you've got Mike McGeer on the soft tyres. So he's looking to obviously go really quick in the first stint to see how far he can stretch that. And then Matthew, Edwin and Yassine are all on the medium tyres. But Stephen and Lorenzo are also on the soft for the rest of the field, filtering down with the mediums. And then Clifton is also on the soft tyres. So quite a few guys on the soft tyres this week.
Sorry, Carl, what tyres is Mike McGeer on?
Mike McGeer is on the soft tyres.
Soft tyre.
Yeah. We've got a move coming up here.
It is Gustav Jacobs on Dion Jonker. Jonker debuting this evening in South African simGT. Good awareness there from Dion. Saw Gustav coming. Just made room for him. Great looking
Gustav's
car.
going to begin to fight back now.
Ryan Hill is into the pits. Yassine Ismail is pressuring Edrin Govender for 5th position. It's Red Racing against Echo Racing.
I think Yassine will just be a bit patient here. The slipstream down the main straight is really good.
Yassine very conservative through that last corner. It's allowed Govender to move away from him. And all these drivers vying for a top 3 results. Those top 3 drivers go straight through to the series split, the South African simGT series split, the top split for round 5 of the championship at Sebring. So all these drivers will want to be finishing on the podium if they can. And currently it's Sparks, Smith and McGeer who've got it for now.
And at the moment it doesn't look like McGeer is really making inroads on the soft tyres. The gap is still around 1.8 seconds. But I think if Leandre and Tim start getting into a bit more of an on-track battle, then you might see Mike closing up.
Yeah, that's a good point, Carl. He's going to be wanting those 2 Audis to be together and slowing each other down. Tim and Leandre in rival teams against each other. Here comes the move.
Coming down the inside.
Oh, there's going to be contact.
Oh, contact.
Oh, can Mike McGeer avoid it? Yes, he can. Just. Wow.
Oof. It's a bit of a shame.
I think Tim Smith had that line there, and Leandre sort of moved across. I'm not about to review that again, but yeah. Perhaps Leandre didn't quite realize he was right next to him.
And as a result, Leandre has given himself quite a nice breathing room now, about 3 seconds to Mike McGeer. And Matthew Boy is another 3 seconds behind Mike.
Stephen Sparks has just put a move on Yassine. Oh, this thing is contact. There was the slight contact between.
Here goes Lorenzo as well.
And Lorenzo, yeah. It's great racing here in the challenge split. All the cars nice and close together. You see Tim Smith now is having a go at Matthew Boy in the Ferrari.
Looks like Stephen Sparks has gotten past Edrin.
Okay.
There we go.
Stephen Sparks is on a mission here. He's passed 2 cars on this lap. Oh, and he gets him.
Just there, yeah.
So great driving there by Stephen.
He moves him up to 5th place now.
So Tim Smith has gone back to 3rd, recovering after that contact there with Sparks, Leandre Sparks. And now he'll work his way towards Mike McGeer if he can and try and get that 2nd position back.
Yeah, he's got about 4 seconds to make up on Mike, and then a further 3.5 seconds to make up on Leandre. So his net loss is about 7.5 seconds at the moment. I see him getting past Edrin.
Oh, a bit of a late lunge by Ismail on Stephen Sparks. But Stephen saw him coming, just moved aside.
Just to note that Stephen is on the soft tyres, so we'll see if he can use it to his advantage to pull away from Ismail.
Lorenzo having a go at Govender for 7th position. They're side by side. Oh, there's contact. Lorenzo just moved across, unfortunately, on he was that Edrin Govender, and around goes Govender. He will recover to 9th position. So
Car's looking a little bit beaten on the side now.
Yeah,
Oh, and he's lost it. Ooh, big
yeah,
one.
I think that's a result of tyres that have been overheated and just let go through that corner. So Govinder will now recover to 10th position. So it's all gone pear-shaped here for Govinder. Let's see what it can do. It's a long race to go. Oh, yeah.
Still trying to get it back on track. And Edrin's probably just rage quit there.
He's decided to. That's all, folks, for Adrian Govinder this evening. And I think the car is suffering quite a bit of damage after hitting the wall too. So I think it was the second encounter with the wall. I think the first incident to hit the wall, and the second to.
And Yassine is still keeping in touch with Stephen Sparks.
Yeah, just watching this race has been a step up in quality in the challenge split race. It's been great to watch, and obviously everyone's done a good amount of preparation for this race. And great to watch. And so I just say that Stephen Sparks makes an error and does a bit of farming. And he will now rejoin. And he's lost out to Yassine Ismail. And he's now got the big Nissan GTR of Lorenzo behind him.
I think there is something very intimidating by being chased by one of those cars. You know that you're very vulnerable down the straight, so it does put a bit of pressure on you trying to get out of the corners. But we'll see if he can keep his head.
Shout out to our YouTube live chatters, Wesley, Quacker, and Ultiman. Germany greets South Africa. Well, Ultiman, South Africa greets Germany back. Welcome. And so, Mark McGee in second position. Yeah, as you say, Carl, is 4 seconds behind Sparks. He'll be wanting to stabilize that gap as much as he can.
Yeah, he seems to be losing a little bit of time. But we'll see what kind of strategy Mike decides to go with. And Ryan Hill just getting out of the way there from Mike, I think. Oh no, who's that?
That's Ryan Hill, yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan did an early pit stop, I think, to repair damage. So Ryan doesn't need to stop again. He can go to the end if he can make his tires and fuel last.
Yep.
The Eco Racing BMW. Sparks now coming under pressure from Lorenzo in 7th, just 0.6 of a second separating them. I see a bent rear wing there for Lorenzo, if I'm not mistaken. Let's just have a look now. Oh, it looks like they bent, doesn't it?
Just a touch. Yeah, it does look a little bit bent.
The aerodynamics of the Nissan, especially through the fast corners. Oi, there's an error there by Stephen. Into the wall he goes. The audio will not be the same again.
Nope, that's his second error in I think 2 or 3 laps now. Just needs to compose himself and find a rhythm again.
Leandro Sparks put her fastest lap of the race at 2:06.106. So Leandro Sparks feeling very comfortable at the moment. And extending the gap back to Mark McGee is now up to 5.1 seconds. Watch the Synergy Racing Ferrari 488 of Matthew Boy. He's got Yassine Ismail chasing down the Eco Racing Audi R8.
Yassine looks very solid on the medium tyres. He qualified on the medium tyres as well, so he's obviously very comfortable. Just putting Matthew under a little bit of pressure, just letting him know that he's there. Matthew's coming up to Ryan now, so we'll see if he can navigate his way through Ryan. It's a back marker at the moment, without losing too much time to Yasin.
Yeah, Ryan Hill is an assisted team to the team that Yasin's in, as far as I understand. So, but I'm sure we won't see any interference there being run by Ryan Hill. I don't think so.
Behind this pairing, you've also got Gustav Jacob catching Lorenzo Lagos as well. That gap is only 0.6, so another close battle on track. Looks like Matthew might be able to catch a little bit of a slipstream there from Ryan, but he's through comfortably. And through goes Yasin as well, so nice job there, Ryan. And Gustav's going to have a bit of work to catch that Nissan down the straight, but we do know that Nissan is running a little bit of damage on the rear wing, so might be hurting him quite a bit down the straights. We'll have to find out. Does look like Gustav is able to stay with Lorenzo down the straights. Wow. Is he going to go for a move here? Yep, there he goes, there he goes. Will he make it?
Oh, he's run wide, he's overshot it.
A little bit wide.
Oh, he's lost out to Lorenzo Lagos quite a bit there. And yeah, we saw Gustav there chasing down the Nissan. It's very interesting. Perhaps Lorenzo's running a lot more wing than Jacobs, but looking at the damaged wing of the Nissan, perhaps that's also contributing to his lack of straight line performance.
Yeah, we saw Brent Lindsay-Ray also employing a slightly lower rear wing on that Audi in the series race, so that made him quite difficult to get past in the Audi.
We saw the difference between the wing settings of the Audis noticeably. Lindsay-Ray was able to sort of pass cars down the main straight pretty easily.
Andre looks like he's extending that gap to Mike now. The gap is hovering between 5 and 6 seconds. Seems to be keeping a good pace.
Yeah, Sin Ismail's now going to run with Matthew Boy for 4th position. Look at this side by side across the start finish straight. Yeah.
Will he have him by the first corner?
He's got him, look at that.
He's got the inside line, well done. Great move there by Yasin. Oh, he's run a bit wide. Can Matthew capitalize on that, get a good run out of the corner? Yasin and Matthew have both outbraked themselves a bit there.
Seem to both missed an apex there. Perhaps this is a case of Matthew just following Yasin through there. Oh,
Yasin's made a small error there.
Yeah, here comes Matthew.
Right. Intriguing battle unfolding here between these two.
So they're both cars sort of fast in different places of the circuit.
Yeah. Great to see that balance between the two cars. Two totally different cars. They drive totally different. Matthew taking a slightly tighter line there than Yasin.
feel pretty evenly spread out at the moment, besides this battle. It's quickly coming to an end. We've got Legorge and Jacobs just 3 tenths from each other. And I see Lorenzo is under pressure now from
Jacobs going down the inside
Jacobs
into the first corner. He got out of it. Spread out, drag race down. Oh, Lorenzo's just on the grass a bit there.
Looks like the inside line for the next corner, as far as I understand. Yeah, I think so. It's the left-hander coming up. So Gustav will try to go around the outside now.
I think Gustav's going to do the undercut, yeah. Nope. Lorenzo took a really tight line.
Outside. Wow, what a move there by Jacobs.
Oh, well done.
You want to take the inside or just go around the outside? Thank you very much. As Cat James will say, how's your father? I'll see you later. Goodbye. Around the corner you guys. And, okay, so Jacobs now recovered to 6th position. And next up the road for him is Matthew Boy. He's about he's actually a good 7 seconds behind him. So work to do for Jacobs to catch Boy. But still a long race to go.
Yep, Tim Smith is also looking good in 3rd. He's only 2 seconds behind Mike McGear.
Yeah, look how he's closed that gap, Carl. It's only down to, it's under 2 seconds now. So
definitely finding Holden. He's got him in his sights.
Perhaps those soft tires of Mike McGear's are starting to let go now. In 11 laps into the race.
Yeah, I'm not sure how long the Nissan runs the soft tires for. I know that the Z4 I was able to squeak 21 laps in practice out of them, but that was to the absolute ragged edge. So I would say about 16 or 17 laps, and you're really doing well on them. Seems at this point that Tim's taking about 2 to 3 tenths out of Mike McGear on every lap. So hopefully within the next 4 or 5 laps we can see these two fighting, maybe even sooner.
Fascinating to see how long Mike McGear can run those socks for. Perhaps we might see him coming shortly and put on a set of mediums and run to the end.
Or even a set of hards. You might decide that the hard tires are better.
Or a set of hards, yeah.
It would be, I'd be keen to see him put on a set of hards. I can't recall anybody running. Well, I mean, I was obviously racing, so I didn't see if anybody was running the hard tires in the series race. I don't know if you can recall, Jason?
No, I don't think so. I can't recall now. No, I don't think so, though. Yeah.
I know Bashir was indicating that he couldn't get enough heat into the hard tires. I didn't even bother testing them because the mediums were more than sufficient to do at least half the race. So I didn't see the point, really.
Now we've had Ismail drop to be behind Boy, so I think Ismail had a mistake on that last corner, and now he's got it all to do again to catch up to Boy and put another move on him if he can. So Ismail now making it easy for himself. Just some areas creeping into Ismail's driving for now. I'm sure he'll be working on that for the future, because it's Ismail's rookie season at Sim South Africa too, in South African simGT.
I think he's representing the core racing team well.
Absolutely.
definitely got something to be proud of.
Yeah. Back to the battle for third position now. Tim Smith has got Mark Miguel well in his sights.
Got that gap down to 1.2.
Yeah, it's doing well. Tim Smith is only 4 tenths down in his best delta time so far on lap 13. So that Smith Racing Audi R8 performing very well.
And that is with a little bit of damage, so we're not quite sure when he did that fastest lap of his. Might have been before the incident.
But, Tim Smith can smell blood here. And Mark Miguel will see him coming in his mirrors.
I think Mike needs to make the decision now whether he takes the risk of maybe losing a little bit of time fighting with Tim Smith, or if he decides to come in a little bit earlier and use the fresher tyres to try and keep the buffer that he has on Tim Smith at the moment. We'll have to watch, see what he decides.
I think Mark Miguel possibly might be racing for third position, so he's probably watching Boy more than Smith, and that's the valued position that he wants to achieve this evening to get that series split grid slot.
Yeah, well, he's got about 11 seconds on Matthew Boy at the moment.
Absolutely, and you probably find if that gap to Boy starts coming down, you probably find Mark Miguel will come in and put on a set of mediums or in the hards.
Yeah, I think as soon as he'll know as a seasoned racer, as soon as he sort of steps out of that consistency zone, then he really has to come in. I think he's doing quite well. He's got 14 laps on the soft tires already, so it leaves him about 29 on the mediums, which is very doable.
Mistake there from Mark Miguel. It's allowed Tim Smith to catch right up to him now.
I think this is really where the Audi is a lot stronger than the GTR. I know Wayne Wortley was saying that the car feels like a bit of a tank through the middle section, but the first and the third section, this car really opens up with that massive engine. Tim Smith really running consistent times. He's again only 4 tenths down on his best delta, so he's doing everything he can from his side.
Let's see how the Audi compares to the Nissan down the main straight. Nissan was edging away, now the Audi's catching up. Oh, okay, now it's about stable now, eh?
Yeah, it looks pretty stable. Nissan's slowly edging. I mean, Tim got a really good run out of that final corner. But Nissan is just holding him off.
Interesting lines there between the two cars, completely different. Look at that.
Yep.
The gear cutting.
Mike taking a much more shallow than
yeah. And Tim using more sort of wider line and cutting in towards sort of the end of the apex. So it's always fascinating to me how everyone approaches corners differently. You can have 10 different drivers and all approach the corners in 10 different ways. It's unbelievable.
Very true.
Nice fight this is turning out to be between Smith and Miguel for second. Of course, Tim Smith recovering after that incident with the now leader Leandre Sparks. Sparks now with a nice lead of about 7.5 seconds. Tim Smith's looking to challenge that if he can. It's got time to do it.
See, Mike Miguel takes a much tighter line through his long right-hander. Tim Smith likes to take it a little bit wider and cutting. Oh.
Yeah.
Can Tim Smith make this move down the end of the straight chain to the right hander?
The throttle there too, just to avoid sort of contact with Mark Miguel.
Nice and close, just showing him a bit of a nose there.
A bit of a cheeky look there.
Unsettling Mike McGear a little bit.
He's done it too. I think it actually did unsettle him.
Yeah. Is he going to take the inside? And Mike actually gets on the brakes.
It's contact. Oh, it's not contact. Bit of the old hip and shoulder there. Tim Smith is
muscling his way through.
2 seconds, yeah.
Can Mike McGear get into that slipstream and pull back that second place? Shout out to Bashir Jadwat joining us in the YouTube chat.
This is the Jacobs-Ismail battle for 5th position. Here comes Jacobs. If you look,
first corner.
Ismail says no ways. You're going to have to try again somewhere else, sir. That's my corner. So Jacobs looking very strong, actually. Recovering well.
Yep. And can he get a good drive out of this corner? Getting to that slipstream and having down the left-hand side.
Stephen Sparks into the pits. I think that's the first of our scheduled pit stoppers.
Yep, lap 16 on the soft tyres.
Very aggressive here by Jacobs, trying to unsettle Ismail. It sort of worked to a degree. Ismail still got that 5th position. Also shout out to Peter Holden-Jones in the YouTube live chat. Welcome everybody.
Okay, 2 slightly different lines there. Unfortunately, Mike McGear is dropping back from Tim Smith, the gap up to 1.7 seconds now. So I think those tyres on Mike's car may be a little bit hurting.
Yeah, and also Matthew Boy's catching up to him too. The gap's only 8 seconds now. So as you say, McGear has a choice to make now. What does he do strategy-wise?
This is a great battle on track at the moment. Both of these guys running the medium tyres, so we should still see a couple of laps with them. And Jason, unless the data that I'm seeing at the moment is wrong, it looks like Stephen Sparks has put another set of the soft tyres on. So if that is true, we would expect him to stop again.
Yeah, so yeah, perhaps we'll be expecting a 2-stop strategy from Stephen Sparks. Might be the first time we see that in this championship, this season anyway.
Yep.
So Jacobs falling away from Ismail. I'm not sure if he made an error. Did miss that.
Seems to be losing quite a bit down the stretch here.
And the gaps open up to 1.1 seconds.
It would seem that he made a bit of an error coming out of that second corner because he's 6/10 down on his delta time at the moment. And you're seeing Ismail having a great lap. He's 3/10 up, so he's definitely making inroads into that era. Really punishing Jacobs for that.
Now that Tim Smith is in 2nd position, we get to see his pace relative to Leandre Sparks in the lead. That gap has come down by a second. So Tim Smith has got that down to just 7.4 seconds. And if that trend continues, he's going to be right with him at about the halfway stage of the race, perhaps.
Yep, somewhere around the pit stop stage.
Yeah, so this race could certainly hot up. See Brandon Landy in the pits now. Here comes the Brands McLaren 650S GT3.
It's a great looking car.
And Landy will rejoin, I think, in 10th position, so keep that 10th. He leads Hill and Bridge, of course, with that early pit stop after damage, we think with Hill. That's what happened between those two. And Landy with a bent rear wing too, so he decided not to fix that damage. A gorgeous looking car, as you say, Carl. Oh,
yeah, beautiful. It's a shame there's only a very small limiter. I think is Brandon Landy the only one racing this car this season?
Yes, he's the only driver racing it in the championship. Yes.
That's such a shame.
Such a shame. Perhaps that'll change for next season.
Let's hope. I think if you bring the BOP down a bit on the car.
Yes, Carl. Yeah.
I think if you bring it down to naught, we could.
I've had a couple of messages this week about the BOP. And, perhaps we'll see some changes for 2018.1.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
And it's exciting that McLaren has just announced the 720S GT3 spec car. And they'll be releasing, I think it's in a year or 2 years' time. Gorgeous looking GT3 car. And we're hoping that it will find its way into Assetto Corsa. So that'll be great.
Well, let's hope. I mean, Assetto Corsa Kunos has supported the McLaren, so
absolutely.
They've obviously got the license sorted. So let's hope that we can see that soon.
Kuno's doing an amazing job getting the licenses to build the models.
Yeah.
And that enables us to have these official simulated models in our championship. Much appreciated. Jacobs now coming back at Ismail, 6/10 of a second between them.
The gap for Tim Smith to Leandre Sparks is hovering around the 6-second mark.
Yeah, it's come down another second.
Yep. Lorenzo Lagorce is running really well in the soft tyres there, and Mike McGear. So the GTR is obviously quite soft on its tyres around here. Both managing to do 19 laps so far. And this is actually not the first time that Lorenzo's run the soft tyres in his first stint. He did the same thing at Monza, and that worked out quite well for him. Finished second in that race. A little bit wide there by Yassine Ismail.
Mistake there by Ismail.
We've got a car on the side of the track here, Clifton Bridge. And it just to stay out of it. Yassine obviously got out of the accelerator there. Because good stuff. Oh, there's contact again.
Went sideways, wow.
Well done, guys.
Whoa, that was incredible. And Jacobs making
You
a
do
new
not
stick.
want to be sliding there.
Wow, that's just about the best move of the season for me.
Yeah.
Definitely a candidate.
Yassine doing very well to keep control of the car. That is not a fun place to be sliding. You're doing about 230 k's an hour.
Yeah, there's a lot of opposite lock action through that corner for both cars.
Yeah.
I think both cars are sort of in a four-wheel slide there.
Yep.
And that was
the wall quite close on the outside on both sides. So
that was literally balls to the wall.
Yep.
So, yeah, great to watch. And Gustav Jacobs is on a mission here. He's come up 3 positions in the last 10 laps or so.
Yeah, he's got about 4 to 5 seconds to make up on Matthew Boy. And Tim Smith's managed to get that gap under, well, between, it seems like he might be losing a bit there now. Somewhere around 5 seconds to Leandre Sparks.
Yeah, Quentin Horov just suggesting that we make up a highlight reel for the season. Well, Quentin, if we do that, that's going to be, I think, right up there. So,
if Quinton's offering to do the highlight reel, you are welcome, sir.
Oh, I'm going to catch my breath. That was very exciting. So Steven Sparks has put a move on Dion Jonker for 8th position as Jonker actually enters the pits.
Yeah, he comes into the pits. I think Dion might have made a mistake there because he dropped a lot of time very quickly.
Okay, perhaps his tyres will let go. What tyres are Dion on, Carl?
Dion is on the medium tyres, so he's coming in a little early. He'll have to run 24 laps on the second set of tyres that he does. I would expect him to put another set of mediums on.
Yeah. But it's in the ballpark for a medium tyre stop, sort of in the middle of the race.
Yeah.
3 laps off, there's nothing wrong with that.
And Yassine Ismail is not letting Gustav Jacobs get away. He's still got that gap under a second, and in comes our race leader here, Leandro Sparks, coming in on lap 20.
So, interesting to see that both those cars coming in on lap 20. Tim Smith, of course, inherits the lead for the moment. And now, will Sparks rejoin in traffic? That's the question.
That is a good question. Dion Jonker's actually gone out on the soft tyres.
Okay.
Have to see what Leandro decides to put on. He should come out around Lorenzo Lagos. There goes Lorenzo now. So he'll come out in fresh air ahead of Steven Sparks. That's coming out here.
Clifton Bridge, but I think it's a lap down. Clifton's going to sneak past. Izzy's going to turn in. Oh, slight contact.
Oh, muscle there.
Yeah. But not too bad for Leandro. No. Not ideal, but I don't think it would have damaged his car too badly.
No, I think he's okay. Leandro has put another set of medium tyres on.
But that would have lost him some time. So Tim Smith would have gained there, I'm sure. But yeah, so as you what, Leandro Sparks is in fact battling the man at the front for the moment, Tim Smith, after Leandro putting in a pit stop. And Tim Smith will be pushing like crazy now, qualifying laps, lap after lap, trying to bridge that, 5-second gap to Leandro Sparks, which I think has probably come down now to about 4 or 3 seconds in fact.
Tim Smith is on a decent lap. He's again only about 3/10 off his best delta. So he is pushing. Tim goes for another lap. Yassine Ismail still keeping between just under 1 second there to Gustav Jacobs. And Gustav Jacobs managing to close the gap on Matthew Boy, so he's pulling Ismail with him. And they're only 2.5 seconds behind Matthew Boy.
Tim Smith is really pushing hard. I think it was just 3/100ths down on his best delta time last lap around. Okay, he's lost a bit of time now after that error through turn 1. Probably pushing.
And Mike McGear in the pits, Gustav Jacobs in the pits.
Yeah, Mike McGear in the pits. Let's see where he rejoins in relation to Leandro Sparks.
I'll be interested to see if he also puts on another set of soft tyres, because he's done half the race now. And he's managed to make those soft tyres work.
Here goes Leandro, past Mark McGear. So he still leads Mark McGear there. On the pit lane activity, Gustav Jacobs also into the pits. Off goes Mark McGear.
Yeah, it looks like Mike has put on another set of soft tyres.
Okay.
Very interesting that they are running the soft tyres a double stint here.
The soft tyre on this run should run better now because he's running a lot less fuel, so it should be better for Mark now. Let's see if he can close down or get closer to Leandro Sparks through the stint. And Mark McGear racing Matthew Boy for 3rd position. But Mark's rejoining clear air, so that's worked out nicely for him. Oh, Dion Jonker is at a DNF. So Dion has left the server. Fortunate for him.
That's a shame.
Our second retirement of the evening after Adrian Govender retired. Another great debut round for Dion. Tim Smith now comes into the pits. Okay, perhaps he thinks that he's got enough of a gap on Leandro Sparks to come in and get up before he comes past him again.
He seems to have about a 45-second gap on Leandre. We'll have to see where Leandre managed to feed out. And Yassine Ismail is also in the pits. Matthew Boyd takes the lead now.
Comes Leandro Sparks onto the main straight. Tim Smith is still in the pits. Off he goes. I think Leandro might get this.
There goes through Lorenzo. Yep, this is going to be really close.
Is it? Leandro. Surely Leandro is going to get it. Let's see. Yes,
Leandro. Yep, there he goes.
The lead of this race.
But I think the net gain there for Tim Smith is Leandro getting a little bit wild through first corner.
Yeah, what car has taken a good, 3 seconds?
2 to 3 seconds, definitely. Well done. Great strategy there by Tim. He obviously used that clean air to his advantage, put the hammer down when it mattered, low fuel. And Lorenzo Lagore still managing to keep those soft tyres going. 23 laps into the race.
Tim Smith has got 20 laps to chase down Leandro Sparks. So of course, he still has to try and put a move on him too, of course. That's another story altogether. But for now, he'll be willing himself on to catch up to Sparks. He's got 4.5 seconds to make up on him. And the Ismail Jacobs battle rages on for 6th position. That gap down to less than a second.
And both of those drivers have come in for new tyres. So that is, as it stands, on track. Which means that Yassine actually managed to jump Gustav Jacob in pit stops because he was behind him.
Absolutely. And as you say that, Matthew Boyd comes into the pit lane. And he will pit from the lead of this race. Oh, Dion Yonker just commenting in the YouTube live chat that his internet dropped, so that's absolutely brutal.
It's a shame, Dion. We've enjoyed to have seen you finish the race this evening. You can still join and do a couple of laps with us.
You can rejoin the server, Dion, if you would like.
And Lorenzo is also in the pits. But Tim Smith got that gap down to about 3.5 seconds at the moment.
So this race is certainly not over.
Nope. Matthew Boyd about 5 seconds behind Mike McGee after his pit stop. Matthew Boyd's got another set of medium tyres on, Mike McGee on the soft tyres. So I think if Matthew can hang in there for a couple of laps until those tyres on Mike McGee's car start to wear, he might have a good chance towards the end of the race. Gustav Jacobs less than half a second behind Yassine Ismail, so that's really tight on track at the moment.
Wow, it's all kicking off here for 4th position.
Yep.
Three-way battle. Jacobs.
Matthew Boyd as well in front. And these two have been going at it the entire race. Oh, a little bit wide there by Yassine. Oh, and he slips through.
That was very, very close.
Yassine will be kicking himself for doing that.
So his tyres for Ismail not quite up to temperature just yet. And letting go to that corner. And Gustav Jacobs up into 5th. He'll go after Boy. And Clifton Bridge now is retired from the race. So 3 complete retirements. We are down to 10 runners with, what is it, 19 laps remaining?
Just under half. Yeah, 19 laps to go. Stephen Sparks is also getting quite close to Lorenzo again. That gap is at 1.2 seconds. Both of them running on the soft tyres.
Lorenzo has in fact repaired that rear wing.
Yep.
And Stephen Sparks has got a bent wing now, so perhaps they swapped wings in the pit lane. Is it bent? No, it's not. I'm just seeing things, don't worry. It's okay, it happens.
Could be a little bit. You might be looking for a bent wing.
Yeah, no, it is bent. I'm not seeing things.
Yeah.
Great stuff. For me, that is, not for Stephen.
Yep.
And these three are still going at it.
Yeah.
We're finding some entertainment for us.
Great to see a three-way battle on track. And after 25 laps, it's fantastic. So the entire field has made their pit stop, so we should see most of these drivers running to the end of the race unless somebody has an incident. Yes, managing to hold on there.
Yeah.
But he is gaining on Gustav Jacobs. Ooh, Jacobs gets it a little wrong there.
Oh!
Yasu Ismail manages to slip through. Looks like he got a bit of a tank slapper coming into the corner. Maybe just got on the accelerator a little bit too early and the car wasn't ready for that.
This is how important consistency is, because Gustav is really quick around here. He's actually got the pace to be running at the front, but these areas creeping in every sort of 4 or 5 laps is what's really costing him.
Yeah, it is a shame. I mean, he's dropping 2 or 3 seconds every 5 or 6 laps, and if you take that over the course of the race, that's a good 12 to 15 seconds that he's dropped.
Yeah, so he's got the pace. His racecraft is really good. But just those areas.
Jason, just a note, Tim Smith has passed Leandro Sparks in the front.
Yes, he has.
And it must be because of a mistake, because he's 2 seconds ahead of Leandro.
Yes.
So the lead has changed.
So there's a 2-second gap as well. So that happening off camera, unfortunately. And Tim Smith won't mind that. Off he goes with a 2-second lead. He's down to 1.8 already, so Sparks is trying to fight back.
Oh, looks like Ryan running off the side there.
Ryan being very generous with leaving space for the front runners.
Yeah. Jason, I see that Bashir's asking in the YouTube chat, what's the fastest lap of the race this evening? I'm not sure if you can pull up anything.
I'm not sure right now, but we'll just wait for somebody else to make a new fastest lap and then we'll know. I'm not entirely sure right now. I remember the 206.1, I think it was, but I think it got faster since then.
If I could scroll up, that would be great.
The pole time was a 2:04.7 by Tim Smith. So it was the pole lap time for this race. Yeah, sure, Quentin, if you want to do a highlight reel, that would be fantastic. You're fantastic with your artwork. I'm sure you'll do a great job.
Okay, so I've managed to find one time at least for Mike McGear. His best time so far is at 2:06.030. As we filter through the guys, I'll see if I can find the times for them. Okay, these times are definitely not right because Brandon Landy's time is at 2:13. I think he has done much better than that so far. Might just be his previous lap time.
See Mark Piquet is putting a lap on Landy. Ismail's now got that gap to Boy down to 1.7 seconds. Got the top three for the moment fighting for those 3 grid starts for the series split for round 5 at Sebring.
It does look like Tim Smith is pulling a slight gap on the Andres box. He's finding some good pace at the moment. And Mike McGear's got a nice 8-second gap to Matthew Boy, and then Yassine Ismail is also pressurizing. Matthew Boy is just a second behind him. Gustav Jacobs coming back from his incident. He's got 4 seconds to make up on Yassine.
Perhaps what Jacobs needs to do with that art is just to soften it a bit so it doesn't sort of ride on so much on the knife edge all the time. Just make it a bit more forgiving. Just sort of turn down the wheel rates around the springs, run softer ARBs perhaps.
I think it's that compromise between a qualifying setup that's really on the edge, trying to eke out every last tenth of a second, and that comfort that you can lean on the car, but it is forgiving enough that you can do an entire race with it.
It's so important. Because, you know, obviously the car will change throughout the stint. So, you know, on lap 1, the car will be totally different on, say, lap 17, 18.
Yeah.
And in your sort of practice preparation, you should be practicing your stint runs and not sort of 1 lap pace. That's very important. And it's something that I like years ago, I used to just concentrate on 1 lap pace. Just 1 lap pace. Let's see how fast I can be. Oh, yeah, takes over there for Ismail into the wall. Oh, that's a hard hit. That is a hard hit. Oh.
He's going to have some serious damage on that car now. Is he going to come into the pits or keep running? Looks like he's going to keep going.
Yeah.
But that's going to bring Gustav Jacobs into it.
Yeah, that was a hard hit. Wow. Almost turned an really RD8 into an RDTT.
That rear wing is really bent, so he's going to be feeling it down the straight, and I'd imagine he's probably going to have a bit of understeer into the corners.
Here comes Gustav Jacobs, who will not go away. He's always with Ismail wherever he is.
Yeah, that car is really hurting.
If Jacobs can find a way past Ismail, I think he'll be taking to Matthew Boy as well. If he can just avoid those costly errors that he makes. Oh, Ismail late in the brakes. Yeah, I don't think that car is quite the same. He rejoins.
No, I think he's...
Jacobs.
think if he now needs to really adjust the way that he's putting the car into the corners and coming out. It's always a bit of a tough one when you take a knock like that.
Yeah, that ironing board in the back has turned into a slide, unfortunately.
Yeah, not looking good.
Best thing you can do is come in and get them repaired straight away. Repair time's not a lot of time in Sella Corsa.
Yeah, he might be able to slap on another set of tyres. He does have about 32 seconds to Steven Sparks, and there's a further 50 seconds behind to Lorenzo Lagor. So seems like Lorenzo might have had an incident because he's lost a lot of time to Steven Sparks.
So pit stops with.
Yep.
Mark is doing exactly what he needs to do to hang on to that third position. That gap has opened up to 10 seconds back to Matthew Boy. Matthew Boy now coming under pressure from Gustav Jacobs. You see Ryan Hill just moving aside for that class to come past him. Yeah, so that's working into Mark Miguez's hands. Those two cars catching up to Boy.
Matthew Boy's having a solid race. He's stayed out of trouble, just knocking in the laps, letting the other guys around him do the fighting and letting them make the mistakes. So just keeping himself clean.
That's the value of consistency. Matthew Boy hasn't got the pace of Jacobs, but he's consistent.
Yep.
And yet he finds himself still in front of Jacobs.
Yep.
Because he's more consistent. That's what it is. Nice coming in pressure from Jacobs.
Yeah, Jacobs is really quick here. It's a good line by Matthew Boy.
Yeah, he's pulled the gap there. Look at that. Ferrari really good through there.
Yep.
I think the Ferrari's got quite a good trick error on it compared to the Audi. Jacobs now throwing it back down the back straights. We'll go for this right-hander. Boys, missed the apex.
Little line.
So Jacobs closes the gap ever slightly. Gap down to half a second. Good run now through this corner. Ferrari very quick out of that corner.
Yep.
But here comes Jacobs. Let's see if we can get in this extreme.
Matthew Boy pulling to the inside. He wants to cover that line. He doesn't want to give Jacobs a chance. Trying to break that slipstream. Which way does Jacobs go? He goes to the outside. He's past him. And he's got that. Can he hold it? Oh, Matthew Boy fighting back.
He's got him. So Jacobs.
It's a good move there by Gustav Jacobs.
Position. He's now got to make up 11 seconds on McGear. Well, it's taller than 13 laps. Let's see what happens. Oh, will Matthew Boy come back at Jacobs? Steven Sparks into the pits.
Matthew Boy managing to just hang on here with Gustav Jacobs at the moment. as a result of that pit stop from Steven Sparks, who did say that I thought he would have to come in again. He did come in very early for the second set of soft tyres. Lorenzo Lagorce is less than a tenth of a second behind him. And yeah, they go down the straight together. Sparks on the inside. Shuts the door.
Oh, Sparks made an error. Steven Sparks.
A little bit
Lorenzo's going to try and go around the outside. That's brave. No, it hasn't quite worked out. I don't think the Nissan will go around the Audi there.
Well, if you can get a good drive on him here,
yeah, you just hang with
just
him.
stick with him. Does look like he didn't get quite as good a run out of that corner as Steven Sparks did. I don't think he'll have an opportunity at the bottom here. Can he get a good drive out of this final corner? Oh, he's run it a bit deep.
It's very hard.
Matthew Boy's still within a second of Christoph Jacobs. He's just keeping him in touch. And we'll have to see if the consistency pays off over the speed this evening. Jacobs is catching Mike McGear. He's got that gap to about, let's see, about 12 seconds.
Steven Sparks now, looking for the inside line. Who's late on the brakes? It is Steven Sparks. Good scrap this for second position. Good dive there.
He's just showing him a little bit, trying to unsettle Steven Sparks.
Force him into an error. Oh, sideways there, the big Nissan GTR.
So easy to do with that car. Now he's got a good drive out of that corner. Not quite close enough, but if you can get close, stick with him down the main straight, you can have another opportunity to the first corner.
Oh, late in the brakes, I braked himself.
Very, very deep. Wow.
Wow, what a move.
Wow.
Whoa.
And Steven Sparks braked a little early and somebody off here in front.
It's Brandon, I think.
Brandon Landy, yep.
But yeah, some incredible moves being pulled off in this race. I'm totally speechless. Wow.
I honestly thought he was headed for the other side of the track.
I think James will have Lorenzo on speed dial, trying to sort of find out what he was doing there and how he got the listen to brake like that.
Yeah, well, I mean the brakes in that Nissan are incredible for the size of the car. It actually has some fantastic stopping power. It's quite deceptive. Christoph Jacobs got the gap to just under 10 seconds to Mike McGear. Matthew Boy seems to be losing a little bit of touch with Christoph Jacobs. Gap up to 2 seconds now. And Steven Sparks will be running fresher soft tyres than Lorenzo Lagorce. Lorenzo running quite deep into the race on the soft tyres. And Steven having come in about 3 laps ago. There we are with our race leader.
It's been an incredible drive by Tim Smith.
Yeah, he's done really well. I mean, considering he had the early on incident there that knocked him down to, was it third place?
Yeah, I think it was fourth position actually.
Yeah, you could be right. And managing to fight his way all the way back to the front, and he's now almost 5 seconds ahead of DeAndre Sparks, and looking really solid at the moment.
It's great to see Tim Smith sort of suffering that incident with DeAndre Sparks, falling back to fourth. As you say, just get himself, calm and just settle down again and keep plugging away. And this can be the results if you get it right. Tim Smith back at the front, leading by almost 5 seconds ahead of DeAndre Sparks. Of course, DeAndre Sparks, I think he actually made an error too, which sort of helped Tim out.
I think, Jason, this just proves that, I mean, if you have an incident, don't just quit. Anything can happen. We saw a similar thing with Bashir in the series race as well. Also having an incident earlier on in the race and managing to fight his way all the way back, but unfortunately got caught up again a little bit later on in the race, which put him down to 10th in the end. But, I mean, have that fighting spirit to keep going.
Absolutely, that's what it's all about. With the Sparks, the course battle still going on.
Yep.
And Stephen just can't get away from that bigness in GTR. Must be pretty intimidating, as you said, Carl, early on, having this big car behind you.
Yeah. I mean, you know that he's coming for you on the straights. And if he's anywhere close to you when you get out of the corner, he's going to be all over you by the time you get to the braking zone.
Oh, he's
and he
go
goes
for it
up
again.
Inside again. Does he make his marker? Running a bit wide. Can Sparks undercut him?
Oh, it's going to be contact.
Close contact.
Slight contact, not too bad.
Sparks concedes the position there.
So these two having an epic scrap.
Fantastic stuff.
Oh, both
running a bit wide. But it looks like Sparks actually got the better drive there.
He did, I think, doing that.
He's holding on, goes down the inside. What a drive. And he's past him. Great stuff there by Stephen Sparks.
Yes, he's done it just...
Yep,
oh! Was there contact? I'm not quite sure.
No, I think they just ran... There's quite a horrible curve at the exit of the turn one, and if you get up onto the curve, getting off it again is quite a mission.
Quite brutal.
Yeah.
See the cars sort of like darting around.
Lorenzo, is he going to dive up the inside here again? No, thinks twice about it. Ooh, Stephen getting a little bit hot out there. He can compose himself through the long right-hander. Oh, and Lorenzo is also getting sideways coming through the corner. Both of these guys pushing really hard. Sparks running really deep.
Wow. Guys really making use of that turn 12 white line exception rule. Really.
And a little bit more.
A little bit more.
Lorenzo having a small look up the inside into the final corner, but I think he's actually hurt himself going down the straight now. And up at the front, Leandro Sparks is about 8 seconds behind Tim Smith. Mike McGeer further 12 behind Leandro in third. And then Gustav Jacobs is slowly making up time on Mike McGeer. It's about 8.5 seconds behind him. And obviously Gustav Jacobs is vying for the coveted third place that will give him a qualification to the series race at Sebring. So he's got a lot of work to do. But
Gustav Jacobs is just on the fastest lap of a 2:05.932.
Wow, so, fantastic stuff.
So it's, yeah, as you say, he's got the gap down to around 7 seconds to Mark McGeer, and there are 7 laps remaining. It's a big ask, a second a lap. Okay,
but it takes one small mistake.
And Lorenzo, oh, here comes the dive.
Lorenzo going down the inside.
Good.
And he's made it stick.
What a move, I think.
Well done,
Lorenzo.
Lorenzo.
He's side by side now. Now, Audi be better 3 years, surely. No, the Nissan holds it. And these two have got our race leader, Tim Smith, approaching as well. So they're going to have to be careful about Tim Smith coming through. Can Stephen come back at Lorenzo? That's the question. I wouldn't be surprised now if Mark McGeer, Stephen Spark especially makes it easier for Tim Smith to get past. Maybe Stephen's going to try and follow Tim past Lorenzo. That's just a strategy that he could employ.
Yep.
What about tactics? There's an error there by Lorenzo. Is slowed. And Stephen might be right with him. Here comes Tim too to put a lap on both of them.
This could be quite hairy going into the first corner.
On Lorenzo. Let's see what happens now. Tim Smith will be a bit worried here. Here comes Stephen. Oh,
and Stephen Sparks has knocked Tim Smith.
Oh,
but Tim Smith has managed to keep it going.
But they're both off.
And they're both off.
Ended in tears. But they're together. He's going to reach.
That's a shame.
Stephen will let Lorenzo back past. I think he feels that he bit of an
that's good sportsmanship.
So great, yeah, as you say, Carl, great sportsmanship. Stephen and Lorenzo actually
looks like
feels
Lorenzo
that
is actually waiting for him.
He wants to continue this fine battle. Just wait for it.
And Stephen, for good measure, runs a little wide. Shame.
You can have overheated tires and dirty tires and all the rest of it. And Lorenzo's going to slow down again. Looks like those two have got Mike McGeer now approaching. So Tim Smith had a big scare, but he survived.
Yep, there we go. Leandro Sparks managed to get through the unscathed.
We didn't even see him go flash past. Gear with an area in the background there. The soft tires letting go. The gap's down to 4.4 seconds to Jacobs. So Jacobs will be pushing like crazy. It's down to 3.9, and you can see him too. Look at that.
Yep.
But it's amazing what that does to you mentally when you can see your opponent. Yeah. You can see him. He's going to go for it now. He's got his targets. And as I said,
Jacobs
it's amazing
is definitely on the better tires.
What that does to mentally, to see your opponent, you can see him, and that wills you on to keep pushing. It's very doable.
3.5 seconds. 5 laps to go. And the battle ensues between these two.
They just can't get enough of each other, it seems.
And Mike McGear is going to be hoping that he can slip through down one of the straights, that he doesn't need to get involved in this.
Side by side now. But no, Steven Sparks maintains that position.
Got the inside line.
Jacobs now 1.4 seconds behind McGear. McGear's coming into traffic as Sparks
has run wide.
Yeah. This is Mike McGear, and here is Jacobs sharing the same corner. Wow, look at this. 4 laps remaining.
And only 1.2 seconds in it.
It's exciting stuff here at Road America. Bashir comments in the YouTube live chat. Lowell had flashbacks of Monday for Tim there. He knows all about that. Does Bashir. And, Mark McGear slips past, but here is Gustav Jacobs filling his mirrors. Audi far superior under braking. Nice turn in there by Gustav. Wow, the Nissan much better through that corner.
Yep. Who's going to get the better drive out of the final corner? Yeah, looks like he had a decent drive there.
So the torque of the Nissan there. Steven Sparks fallen back from Lorenzo now is 15 seconds. Looks like an error there for Sparks.
I think he had.
That's,
I think he lost quite a bit of time with letting these two through, and he might have made an error after that.
But now we watch the battle for the valued third position. This is the last position available to secure a grid start for the top split, the South African simGT series at Sebring. McGill will be feeling the pressure, as experienced as he is.
Now Jacobs is right on him here. You can just see the amount of grip that the Audi has over the Nissan coming through this long right-hander. Mike McGear having to get on the brakes the whole time. Jacobs just having to get out of it. Might think about a move down the inside here.
Gustav will be weighing up Mark McGear all the time, trying to see where the strengths and the weaknesses of the Nissan are around the circuit, and coming up with a plan as to what he needs to do, where he needs to be, when to make the move. All those thoughts will be running through his mind.
Sideways into the final corner.
Four-wheel drift there for Mark McGear, and it's compromised him. Jacobs has got a run on him. This is where the Nissan is strong, but the Audi's had a better run through the last corner.
Very close down the inside. Can he make it stick? Great driving there by those two, keeping it clean.
Wow. Jacobs up into third position. He takes a qualifying spot away from Mark McGear with 3 laps remaining. Jacobs has been an absolute mission this evening, recovering 3 or 4 times from errors. But he's made it work for him and settled into the car nicely now. Yeah, he's got that position. Let's see what Mark can do about him though. Perhaps he can come back at him.
Still 3 laps, or 2.5 laps left for these two.
What Mark needs to do is hang with it Audi as much as he can until the main straight. But now he's getting away.
They're still needing to clear Lorenzo de Gorge there in front of them. But they're not catching him. Obviously fighting, they haven't been able to put a lap on him yet, but he could come into play. Unfortunately, at this point, it does look like Jakes has got a little bit more pace than Mike McGee. I think those tyres have maybe given up on Mike McGee's car. He is running the soft tyres and Jacobs on the medium, so I think Mike McGee is on about 19 laps on those soft tyres, so they're getting quite close to the end of their life.
This is the Landy Hill battle now. That's 6/10 between these two cars. This is the battle for 9th position. It's McLaren against BMW. And even their back markers having a fantastic scrap. There's always somebody to race here at SimRace South Africa. And if you're watching this race and you would like to get involved in the racing, you're welcome to visit our website at simracesa.co.za. You're welcome to register on the forum. Put your name down for your first open race and yeah, get involved. You're very welcome to. And we've got our open racing, where the sort of the best racing you can do to start racing at SimRace South Africa. And that next round of the Open Sim MX5 series is next week, Wednesday. And, plenty of action to be had.
Ryan Hill looks like he's got a really good drive on Brandon Landy here, up next to him, and he's passed him.
Yeah. So Hill goes to 9th position.
Tim Smith just started the final lap of the race. He's 4.8 seconds ahead of Leandro Sparks at the moment. Just following our leader now. Coming into turn 5 for the final time. It does seem like Tim Smith is taking it a little bit easier, because Leandro Sparks has taken about a second out of him on this lap already. Leandro hasn't given up, he's still pushing.
Surely Tim Smith is not running out of fuel or something silly like that, but he certainly is slowed, hasn't he?
Yep, gap at 3.2 seconds. Just a couple of corners to go now. Mike McGee is still in touching distance of Gustav Jacobs, 1.4 seconds between them, and that's for 3rd place. Tim Smith only got one more corner to go to take victory here this evening.
Well, congratulations to Tim Smith, a solid drive, wow. And he will take victory here at Road America. of the challenge split at round 4 of the championship, and Sparks will get a strong second. Gustav Jacobs will recover very well indeed to secure that final qualification grid start for round 5 of the championship at Sebring, the South African simGT series, the top split. Congratulations to him, and to Sparks and to Smith for securing those grid slots. Mark McGeer will get 4th position, and Matthew Boy will survive 5th position. And he will get that nice consistent run, yeah, as you say, yeah. And Yassine Ismail will bring that second-hand looking Audi R8 into finishing 6th position.
Well, that wing is going places. It's still very entertaining race there from Yassine.
And Lorenzo will ultimately win his epic scrap with Stephen Sparks for 7th position, but as I say, that is
great car control there.
It's good to finish in 7th position, I think. Sparks.
Stephen Sparks
yeah,
pits again.
He's retired, is he? Looks as if he's retired from the race.
On the final lap?
Or has he finished the race? I'm not quite sure. But yeah.
Well, it doesn't show on us.
Yeah, it says Sparks in 8th position, Ryan Hill in 9th.
Here comes Ryan Hill now. Ryan Hill coming around the final corner.
Hill's also lap down.
Yep. Well done there to Ryan Hill. Snatching that 9th place. And Brandon Landy. Oh, I think he just teleported off there.
Well, I think that concludes round 4 of the South African simGT Challenge at Road America. From me, Jason Holden-Jones, thank you very much for joining, and thank you, Carl, for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
No, thank you. Been great commentating with you.
And we'll do it again sometime.
Yeah, definitely.
Great stuff. But until Monday evening, when we'll be live streaming the 5th and final round of the South African Sim M2 series. All the best until then. And you can catch that race from 8:30 on Monday evening, right here on YouTube. Well, until then, all the best until then. Goodbye.